this team at the bye week now. Some context for what took place at US Bank Stadium on Sunday. Entering Sunday's play, teams were 0-99. That's correct. Teams were 0-99 the last 5 years when trailing by 20 or more points at halftime. Entering Sunday, only 2% of teams, to put that into context, 28 of 1,399 in NFL history, down 20 at the half, had overcome such a deficit. And now it is, of course, 1 of 99 for the first stat I gave you. And now it's 29 of 1,040 teams. Anyway, this is what we saw yesterday. A remarkable meltdown by the Broncos, but kudos to a Vikings team that could have easily, I thought at halftime, been like, you know what, the bye's coming up. We are checking out of this thing.
Judd, it felt like they were breaking huddles with 1-2-3 Cancun.
It's incredible. It was nuts. It was absolutely. So what was when halftime came along? And because this at that point looked very much like it was going to be 2016 loss to the Colts, which was a complete no-show by the Vikings. Team missed the playoffs. This looked like it was going to be I believe it was 3 last year against Buffalo, 2018 Vikings. Team missed the playoffs. And these are home clunkers.
Yeah.
I will give you a road clunker.
At Soldier Field. We saw that week 4.
Exactly. So that happens.
Which continues to look worse and worse, by the way.
It does, but it was a clunker. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you a road clunker. I don't think a fan base has to like a road clunker, but you go on the road, you play a sort of basically what I think is a pathetic game, and you say to yourself, okay, we can sort of justify it because we were on the road. At home, you can't, especially if you consider yourself a good team. I don't think that you can justify that. And there's a lot to get to, a lot to digest about this game, a lot that was very, very bad, and a lot that was impressive in the sense that they came back. But bottom line is they go into the bye week now, 8-3. They right now hold the 6th playoff spot in the NFC, and they are 2 games up on the Rams, who beat the Bears last night. The bottom line is the Minnesota Vikings have put themselves in a very solid position with a month left and I believe 5 games to make the playoffs. But man, getting there on Sunday was about as difficult as you could possibly make it for yourself.
Yeah, they certainly did themselves no favors with what happened in the first half, and that's why, and we'll get to our pie chart of blames here probably in the second segment this hour of Vikings Ventline. But it was a very ugly first half of football, Judd, and then to see them be able to flip that switch, I do think is really encouraging. Now, against a good team, you're not going to be able to do that. When a strong opponent comes in and you have a first half like they had, you're not going to win that game. You got lucky that it was a guy in Brandon Allen who was his second career start at quarterback for Denver, and ultimately the Denver Broncos, who just aren't very good.
And that's what I said. The only thing I will stand by in all seriousness that I said on Friday that I think holds up is this. The Denver Broncos, because I heard a couple of people say, well, man, look, they've blown 4 quarter leads going into in games, and they could easily be, and the narrative last week was 6-3. 3-6, they could be 6-3.
Yeah.
All right. But these last 2 games, we have seen why the Dallas Cowboys, who I think have some very good players, why the Dallas Cowboys aren't better. They're poorly coached. They're not disciplined. They do dumb things.
Yeah.
Broncos, same thing. The Denver Broncos could not be 6-3. Vic Fangio, and we can also get into coaching because there were decisions made on both sides I don't get. But Vic Fangio's management of that game was about as poor as you can possibly get.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
You did things that scream, I am a defensive coordinator, and that's my lot in life. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
I thought that the time management down the stretch of that fourth quarter was just brutal. There's no reason that after Brandon Allen was tackled with, I believe, 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Denver was out of timeouts at that point, but they didn't spike the ball until there were 10 seconds left on the clock. You could have gotten a 4th playoff had you done that
they didn't
efficiently.
They didn't spike that ball. Zim called the timeout, which we need to get to.
Oh, that's right.
Zimmer stopped the clock.
That's right.
651-646-8255. 2-hour edition of Viking Ventline. We're on till noon. We're in the TCL broadcast studios. What did you think? And what do you think? 8-3 going into the bye of this team now in very good playoff shape, but certainly made it very difficult on Sunday. 651-646-8255. Let's start Vikings Ventline calls with Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Of course.
You got it. What's up?
Hey, I just want to give my hats off to Stefon Diggs. He's just really stepped up his game in Thielen's absence. And quite frankly, he had that little, skirmish, I guess you would say, earlier this year, sitting out of practice, getting fined and everything, and saying like, "Give me the ball," but he's, he's backed it up. So I truly think that he is such a great offensive player, and the team's finally figured out a way to use him effectively this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be huge for us in Seattle. So thanks for taking my call, and appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. In fact, let's play this then.
3rd and 2, time for Cousins, going deep. He's got Diggs. That's a touchdown. What a play. Diggs got it 54 yards.
No, I saw him on the sideline. Yeah. No, he does that a lot. I mean, he just wants to win. He wants to compete. I don't think it fueled anything. I think we just played better.
Who broke Kevin Harlan on that touchdown call?
Is that a glitch in? That might be a glitch in
I heard it live.
audio. Oh, okay.
Live, that's what it was.
I don't know. But Stefon Diggs, man. All right, let's start with him because the first half he caught, I believe, what went for
44
initially
yards.
Yeah, so a big pass. Riley Reef got a holding call against him. It nullified that. So if you go back to the halftime stat sheet and look, gentlemen, Stefon Diggs, no targets.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. All right. I'm going to go back to my thing that I understand that Thielen has been out, and I understand that Diggs is drawing extra attention, and that if nothing else, teams are putting a safety over the top on him. I get all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
But no targets. Are you serious?
Unexcusable.
Second half of yesterday's game. And there's a couple things at play here that I think are very important. But second half, Kirk Cousins targets Stefon Diggs 5 times. He catches all 5.
Mm-hmm.
121 yards, which is, by the way, an average of 24.2 yards per catch. All right.
You'll take that.
That's otherworldly. That's fantastic. That's great. The 54-yard touchdown. There's 2 things. One, Stefon Diggs, covered or not, can't be ignored. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have I don't understand. And among the things that amazed me on Sunday was it was as if Kirk and the play calling in the first half were replaced by people in the second half.
Yeah.
In the second half, they finally said, and I get it, 2-minute drill, entire half. It looked great. But they also said, we got to incorporate Diggs. Well, no, you know what? Of course you do. The other thing about Diggs that I absolutely loved is, and this is what Kirk, everyone, if there is a nuanced positive about the Vikings offense right now that I believe is starting to take hold, it's that people are beginning or have gotten their roles down pat.
Yeah.
Stefon Diggs, one, is a phenomenal football player. So on the field, he's great. But because he carries weight on the sideline too. He was going up and down, Danny, the sideline yesterday, ranting and raving, and I don't know if he was screaming at people, but it certainly looked at some point like he was very emotional about things.
Sure.
But I really think that this guy has developed largely, and this is fantastic, into your offensive captain too. And you know why I like that? Because that can't really be Kirk. Kirk
can't be the guy that's emotional all the time on the sideline. You can't have your quarterback be that guy and be successful.
No, but he's also not Brady, so he doesn't have that. I don't think Kirk has that cachet there, which to be very clear about this, I'm not criticizing.
No.
He just
knows
knows
fine.
Kirk likes to be the corporate quarterback. That's what he enjoys. He at the podium yesterday on Sunday said it again. I'm the CEO. Oh, all right, that's your role. That's cool. That's great. But Stefon Diggs' emotion, and when he scored that touchdown and went absolutely crazy, and the crowd, which booed the team off the field at halftime now, is going absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And they love it. They absolutely love it. Stefon Diggs, the most important thing, and I'm not saying it's not, the most important thing he did in that win was catch the football and do a great job and beat guys, and he can do that. But I don't want to downplay the fact that he also has the ability to emotionally get a team that for 30 minutes of football looked dead.
Yeah.
They looked dead.
Yeah, they looked like I tweeted this out during the first half or during halftime. The Vikings just didn't show up.
Yeah.
It's like maybe someone wants to let them know that there's a game today because they were not at US Bank Stadium for the first 30 minutes of action, Judd. That's what it was. They looked dead. They looked like they didn't want to play. They looked like they weren't at the stadium.
They look like a team on a bye week. They looked like they had gone.
They looked like a team that was breaking huddles with 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah. Now Zimmer claimed I asked that question post game, and I said, "What was going on? Were they just checked out because of the bye?" And his claim was that He didn't think so because of the bye, because he had been told that for the first time, I believe since he got here in 2014, last week, no player asked about the bye week schedule. They didn't really look forward, blah, blah, blah. Football cliche insert here. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. But they didn't show up. And that was the bottom line. And here's Mike on what took place at halftime yesterday at US Bank Stadium in the home locker room, where I'm sure there were some choice 4-letter words delivered.
I talked to him. Yeah, I just, basically told him, we got to, everybody's worrying about this and worrying about that. You got to focus on your job. We got to get lined up. We got to go play fast, play hard, play together as a team, do the things that we're capable of doing. I don't know if a speech really helps. It helped us going down the field and scoring the first drive, the second half to make it a 2-score game.
What in your mind was the most important thing that changed in the third quarter? Besides scoring, clearly, first.
Well, yeah.
But what was the most important?
The offensive philosophy. I think the fact that they went from whatever their game plan was, and that's why both Kubiak and Stefanski will appear on my pie chart of credit when we get to that later in the show. They abandoned what was a bad game plan. That first half game plan was not good.
Can you explain it to me?
Not entirely.
What do you think it was?
I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. And that's a bad sign.
I agree.
The fact that Stefon Diggs had no targets, I was trying to figure out, because that's one of the things I'm most interested in, is what exactly are you trying to do? And the Vikings have done a good job, at least recently, of having good scripts to open the game, I think. And this one yesterday was just awful. I don't know what they were looking for. And during the course of the script, you're trying to find out what looks you're going to get from certain looks that you prevent to the defense.
Sure.
So I couldn't figure out what they were trying to accomplish offensively. And then in the third quarter, making Stefon Diggs a focal point, going no huddle the entire time.
Yep.
That's when things started to make sense, because that's when they were far better. That's what changed at halftime. And I do think that the offensive leadership for the Vikings deserves credit for saying, you know what we did in the first half, none of it worked. We are just going to go no huddle here, and we are going to do what we know we do best. We're not going to do anything because of what Denver does. We're going to do the things that we are best at, rather than trying to find out, okay, where can we find Denver's weaknesses? We're going to do the things that we're best at. And I think that that's a big deal.
651-646-8255. Viking Ventline is the show. We're on until noon. We're in the TCL broadcast studio, Zulgad and Cunningham. I want to run through the Vikings' first 2 drives, and it's going to be quick, Danny, because to your point, we sort of know, I think, by now what gets Cousins and the offense off to a good start, right? It's not a big dark secret of some sort, right?
Got to get him in a rhythm early.
Yeah.
And got to have a strong running game.
Yeah.
You have to put him in the position to be successful, which that's not necessarily true of any quarterback, but any non-elite quarterback, that's really the case, Judd.
But you also have to do it too, I believe, in spite of what you're afraid the opponent might do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't game plan for Denver with my quarterback thinking, oh boy, they can stop what he's good at, and so I just can't do it. I think what you said's right. You've got to go in with, forget that. I need to worry about what gets my guy off to a good start that he can do well.
So the best comparison I can make right now is to the Wolves, because this is what the Wolves are big right now on. They are big on making the opponents adjust to them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to adjust to opponents. They want opponents to adjust to what they're doing. They want to be so good at what they do that the opponents have to figure out how they can play with the Wolves, rather than the Wolves figuring out how they can match up with their opponents. That's the philosophy the Vikings need to take. They need to take the philosophy, we know what we're good at. We're going to continue to do what we are good at, and we're going to make other teams, other defenses adjust to the things we do well offensively. Right now, I can't say that for sure that that's what they're doing, because it didn't seem like that yesterday. It seemed like yesterday they were trying to do things in the first half that, okay, we might not be best at this, but this is what we have to do to beat Denver. And I don't think, and this is an offensive group that's too talented to have to worry about that. When you've got guys, and I understand that Thielen's still out, but it's even more so when Thielen's back. But even when you have Diggs and Cook and Irv Smith and Rudolph and even Kirk Cousins, you have enough talent to say, okay, we know what we're good at. We're going to be good at this. Stop it. In the first half, they didn't do that.
In fact, they sort of went in with a scripted game plan that screamed, we know you'll stop us, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why, all right? They get the ball. They're down 3-0 after a Brandon McManus 47-yard field goal on Denver's first drive. 3-0. Okay, who cares? It's no big deal.
Nice opening drive for the
Yeah,
Broncos.
exactly. Nice opening drive. Kudos to you. And now we're going to come out and kick your butt. But you get the ball with 11:32 remaining in the opening quarter. 1st and 10 at your own 25. Dalvin Cook handoff, 3 yards. All right, it's Dalvin Cook handoff, 3 yards. I'd like to get in rhythm here, but I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to criticize that play at all. Then 2nd and 7. Kirk Cousins pass short left, but it's to C.J. Ham. He gets 6 yards. Okay, those first 2 plays, I'm okay with. Not sure I love them, but I'm okay with them.
You're not crazy about throwing a C.J. Ham as
I'm
part
not
of the
either.
script,
I'm not either, but you know what? It's a rhythm play, right?
Sure.
So,
it's an easy completion.
So now it's 3rd and 1, and you're at your own 34-yard line. And here's where it sort of gets confusing and where I think Twitter lit up like a Christmas tree. C.J. Ham handed the ball up the middle, no gain, you punt.
I don't like that.
What are you doing?
Why are you giving the ball to C.J. Ham on 3rd and 1?
Yeah, exactly. So
Who are you, Paul Christ?
So right
calling fullback dives?
Yeah,
is this Wisconsin?
Exactly. So right there you lose me because and I get it, it's 1 yard, but you got 33. You got 25. Madison could have got you the yard you know what? If
furthermore, Judd, you've got 14.
Yes, you do. But if you were that desperate to get that yard, have Kirk just fall forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, you lose me there, all right?
Sure.
Completely
agree.
But now it's 3 and out. Okay, so I'm not too high on that. Denver gets the ball back. They go 3 and out. Minnesota now gets the ball back again. 9:03 left, first quarter. Dalvin Cook, again, first down from their own 45.
Fine with that.
4 yards off left tackle. Then and now here's where I get a little bit confused about the difference between getting Kirk in rhythm and going and saying, why doesn't he throw the ball downfield? Your 2nd down and 6 pass is Cousins to B.C. Johnson for 2 yards. Now you've set up 3rd and 4, and it's a pass short right to Cook that gets stopped. I understand what they're sort of trying to do, but what you just said makes more sense to me. We just went through a scripted 6 plays, and 14's not involved, and you've got other options. It's just a weird dance how they're trying to do this.
And it felt like, with the exception of the handoff to C.J. Ham on 3rd and 1 on the first drive, it felt like all of those were part of the script. The fullback dive is not on a script ever because you deviate from the script when it's a 3rd and 1 like that.
Sure.
That wasn't what Kubiak and Stefanski had dreamed up. But other than that, I hated the script. Like, it wasn't a good script. And take even the worst play out of it. Like, it still just wasn't good. It wasn't acceptable. It was not passable this week.
No, it was weird. And so the funny thing, though, is if you were to tell me, all right, 25 years from now, I want you to give a synopsis, 2019 Vikings for a time capsule. So you got to put film, you got to put video in a time capsule, and people are going to pull that out and say, these were the 2019 Vikings. I really think that the first and second half are this team right now.
Put this game in.
Yes. But you got to separate them and say this is the same game, but you got to because think about this. At their worst, this offense, Danny, looks lost.
Mm-hmm.
At its worst, it looks completely lost. And there have been times this year, there were moments as recently again as the Kansas City game, right? And then there are moments where it's the Dallas game or it's the second half yesterday with Diggs, where this offense looks like, oh man, it's clicking and it's so well called. And Kirk
had 4 drives in the second half, scored 4 touchdowns.
I know, and Kirk came back and Kirk looks fantastic, and now Kirk's on track. And I honestly believe that you could summarize in some ways the 2019 Vikings, at least offensively, by taking yesterday's game and saying, this is sort of them. And by the way, it's the same quarterback. It's the same play callers. It's the same everything. But when they get that confidence back, and this is why I go back to what you said, and I think you're right. I think going to the 2-minute drill for basically the entirety of the second half was the most important thing because that's what snapped Kirk out.
Yeah.
And this is not – I think we need to be fair here. This is probably not all Kirk. He's a quarterback, so he's the easiest guy to talk about. I don't know that this is all Kirk, but he snapped out.
Kirk did not make my pie chart of blame.
He made both sides mine.
He did not make my pie chart of blame because I don't think that I can criticize Kirk for the plays that were called. They did him no. I didn't think Kirk was bad in the first half. Kirk wasn't put in a position to even be okay in the first
So
half.
they're trying to find, as far as I can figure, what they're trying to do is also they're trying to find what's going to get Kirk in a rhythm and confident and going. And the 6 plays that we just went through on the opening 2 drives obviously did not do that.